Alright, Class 7, Demand! Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to make economics easy for you. So today we're diving straight into IGCSE Economics Chapter 7, Demand. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand what demand is, how it works, and the key factors that affect it. Let's get started. Okay? Class 7 Demand. First, what exactly is demand? In economics, demand is the want and willingness of consumers to buy a good or service at a given price. But there is a key difference here. Effective demand is when willingness to buy is backed by the ability to pay. For example, if you want a laptop but don't have the money, that's just demand. If you do have the money and are willing to spend it, that becomes effective demand. Next up, we need to know the terms. Quantity demanded and market demand. The quantity demanded is the effective demand for a particular good or service. We can also look at demand in two ways. Individual demand. Demand from one consumer. Market demand. The total demand for a product, which is the sum of all individual demands. Now, let's dive into the most crucial part. The law of demand. It states that when price increases, demand decreases, and when price decreases, demand increases. This shows an inverse relationship between price and demand. For example, if the price of Coca-Cola drops from RM80 to RM60, the demand might rise from 300 units to 500 units. That's called an extension of demand. But if the price rises again from RM60 to RM80, demand falls from 500 to 300 units. That's a contraction of demand. Remember, a change in price will always result in a movement along the demand curve. In our next section, we'll learn why the demand curve itself can shift. Sometimes, demand changes even when price stays the same. This causes the demand curve to shift. If demand rises without a price change, the curve shifts to the right. If demand falls without a price change, the curve shifts to the left. Example, Coca-Cola demand increases from 500 to 600 units with no change in price. That's a rightward shift. If demand falls from 500 to 400, that's a leftward shift. This brings us to a very important concept. Changes in demand. Why do demand curves shift? Well, let's explore the key factors that can influence consumer demand. Consumer incomes. This refers to households' disposable income, which is the income left after paying taxes. If consumers have more disposable income, their purchasing power increases, and so does demand for most goods. This shifts the demand curve to the right. During economic downturns or when wages rise, consumers may have less disposable income, reducing demand and shifting the curve to the left. Taxes on incomes. When people earn more, they pay more taxes. This leaves them with less disposable income, leading to lower demand, which shifts the demand curve to the left. Lower taxes have the opposite effect, increasing demand and shifting the curve to the right. The price of substitutes. What are substitutes? They're products that can replace each other. For example, if coffee prices rise, making it less attractive, people may switch to tea, which is a substitute. Good, since tea is cheaper, the demand for it will increase. This illustrates a leftward shift in the coffee demand curve due to the increase in the price of its substitute. The price of complement. Complements are products that are used together. For example, printers and ink cartridges. If printers become more expensive, fewer people will buy them, resulting in less demand for ink cartridges. This causes a leftward shift in the demand curve for ink cartridges. Consumer tastes and fashion. People's preferences constantly evolve, influencing what they buy. For instance, DVDs were in high demand until streaming services like Netflix changed consumer tastes. As a result, the demand for DVDs dropped significantly, causing a leftward shift in the demand curve for DVDs. Advertising. Effective advertising campaigns can influence consumer behavior by creating awareness and persuading customers to buy certain products. This can lead to higher demand, shifting the demand curve to the right. Conversely, Poorly executed ads may have little impact or even lower demand, shifting the curve to the left. Population changes. A larger population usually means higher demand for most goods and services. This is because more people mean more consumers, leading to a rightward shift in the demand curve. However, if the population declines, demand generally falls, shifting the curve to the left. That's a wrap for Chapter 7, Demand. Before we move on, let me ask you a question. You might have noticed that the demand curve slopes downwards. Why do you think this is the case? Pause the video and write down your answer in the comments. If you said that the law of demand causes this downward slope, you'd be absolutely right. And here, essay bonus fact for your efforts. The word economics actually comes from the Greek word oikonomia, which means household management. Just like managing a household, economics is all about making choices with limited resources. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember, understanding economics can help you make better decisions in everyday life. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it valuable, please consider supporting us. Your support helps us create more quality content. Now, here's a little quiz to check what you've learned. Remember, you can find the answers in the video. Question 1. What is the relationship between price and demand according to the law of demand? Question 2. What is the difference between an extension of demand and a contraction of demand? Question 3. Give one example of a good and explain how an increase in its price would affect the demand for a complementary good. That's it for the quiz. Thanks for watching!